Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and I want to welcome you back to the Parson's Bench Workshop. Today we're going to continue sort of the theme for this year, which is organizing my shop and better using space and making it look better. Now I'm very thankful and fortunate to have a benchtop planer and joiner. Now when I first started, I just had a joiner. I had a 4-inch Craftsman joiner that I inherited from my father-in-law, and it was actually in two pieces. The motor was separate and I had a belt that had to come up. So the cart that I built was very functional for that. It was ugly as everything, but it was done in a hurry because I needed to joint something. And that served me well for a while. Just again, I don't like it. Last year I upgraded and I got an 8-inch Wahuda benchtop. So what I have is an 8-inch Wahuda joiner and I have a Delta 13-inch planer. So I want to build one cart that they can go on. So I'm going to build a side-by-side cart. We got kind of a split level so that the in-feed, out-feed tables are pretty well aligned. They may not be perfect. They're going to be pretty close. Okay, so one of the first things I did to get this project started was to take measurements of my benchtop tools. Now for me, the most critical measurements were the height of the out-feed tables and then what is the footprint of the base of these tools. If you're making a cart, yours are going to be different, so I'm not going to share those. I will share the dimensions as I'm cutting things. But I want the outfeed tables to be roughly the same height. And so based on those measurements, I was able to lay out the size of the cart. Now, this actually has drastically changed over the last couple of days, but I'm able to get where I think it's adequate size-wise, big enough, but I can also should be able to get this out of one sheet of plywood, which is good. So we're going to break out the track saw and get this. No, we're not. I don't own a track saw. I can't afford a track saw. So we're going to drag the plywood into the carport and we're going to lay out some 2x4s to cut on, and we'll get this thing laid out and we'll get it cut as best we can. So we're going to measure it out. I got to measure what the offset is for my saw, and then we can use my level to as a cutting guide, straight edge cutting guide. Alright, that's all the cuts I need to do out here. You could, if you want to spend the money on a track saw, if you got one, you could use it, but you're not going to burn as many calories, you're not going to sweat as much, and you're not going to be breathing as hard as doing something like this. But thankfully the rest of it I can do in the shop on the table saw. So what I want to do is move everything in there and turn on the air conditioner, and then I'm going to go eat lunch. And by the time I get in there, hopefully it will be cooler and it won't be so hot and sweaty. Alright, after lunch and a change of clothes, get out of the sweaty clothes, it is nice to be in the shop. Now I thought I was through with this kind of setup, but I need to trim a little bit off of the base, and just not comfortable doing it on my table saw with how little I need to cut off and how much would be hanging over and not supported and all that. So anyway, I got this set up, and we got a few cuts we'll make like this. It won't be so bad because I'm on the workbench and inside, so it's cool.
Okay, I got this cut to length. So what I want to do is, I was wanting these 24 inches wide. I was wanting the cart 24 inches wide, but it's going to end up being about 23 7/8. So I'm going to rip this down 23 7/8. It's almost that. It should just kind of shave off a little bit. I think the other piece maybe have a little bit more coming off. But once I do these, this will get the bottom and the tops at the same length, and then I'll probably rip the side pieces as well.
Okay, with all the pieces cut out, let me give you a rough diagram of what this is going to be like. This is not to scale by any means, but we got a base, one piece of plywood that's going to be, it's 24 inches wide. The whole thing is 24 inches wide, but this is going to be 43 inches long. Then on the side where the planer is, you got two end pieces basically, one on the very end and one roughly in the middle. And again, this is not to scale, it's not straight, just know that. But these end pieces are 24 inches wide, of course, and they are 21 inches tall. Then on this side where the joiner is going to be, you've got one piece, because I'm going to have a ledger here for the top, and this piece is 24 inches wide by, I think it's 19 inches. No, it's not, 17 inches. The top pieces for the joiner, it's 24 by 19. And for the planer, it's 24 by 24.
Alright, so we're ready to do the pocket hole screws, and it really doesn't have to be so precise. This is going to be glued and screwed, I think doing about 5 inches or so between screws on the spacing will be plenty. And so anyway, I got my Masca pocket hole jig set up with my vacuum hose, and all right, let's get working. We've got about 3 panels, I believe, that we need to do. With our pocket holes drilled, now we're ready to assemble. Alright, now we can put the top on. So this thing is glued up nicely. It appears to be nice and sturdy. I did use pocket holes and glue to put this together, so I want to go back now and plug the pocket holes. And I just used 3/8-inch dowels. I cut them anywhere between 2.5 inches. Alright, what is a project without a little bit of problem? So I got ahead of myself and I glued and screwed the top on. And so I don't have enough room to get these plugs in here. Now this is just a piece of shop furniture, so I thought about just leaving it, and I could live with it. I could live with all of them. But I'm going to try filling it with some wood filler. Okay, so we got this filled. Let's flip this thing over now onto its top, and we can glue the squares on for the casters, and then all this can be drying at the same time, and I can go run my errands. Okay, this cabinet is basically done. All of the holes that I had plugged with dowels, I've trimmed those out and sanded. The holes that I filled with wood filler have been sanded down. So I've been saying I'm going to paint it, but here's the problem. I went to check my paint. I don't have any paint. I thought I had some containers of paint, but all I got is some small, not enough to do this. And honestly, I just don't know if I want to go buy paint. I want to put more money into this for what it's going to be. So I'm thinking about just going ahead and attaching the wheels on it and getting the joiner and the planer plate. Okay, we got these 3-inch casters from Harbor Freight that are locking, and they stand about 3 inches or so high. I can't remember, 3.5, 3 1/8. So I got these holes marked. We'll drill our pilot holes. So one of the struggles I've had is figuring out where I want to put a power strip and how I want to run my cords. I'm just going to make it easy. I'm going to drill a hole on this face here to run the cord from the jointer, and I'll put one over on this end as well. I'm going to put the power strip on the outside here. The cord for the planer can just go over the side, and I'll zip tie that. The joining one I'll run through those holes. This will be attached to the side, and then I can plug it in there. So we're going to do that. Then, so we'll drill those holes. I'll attach the power strip, and then I want to measure and be sure I've got these tools placed where I want them. Then we can drill our pilot holes, and I can attach these with screws. And then I do want to go ahead and I'm going to put on each side, I guess I'm going to call it a stretcher. I don't know if that's technically what it is. This thing seems solid. It doesn't rack at all. But just to be sure, once these tools are in use, it doesn't do that. I'm going to pocket hole to the end, to the top on each side of the planers at least. Those stretchers, and that'll help shore it up. I don't think it's necessary, but it'll make it ready. All right, let's get going. All right, I hate trying to line up the screw holes on these power strips. So what I'm going to do, what I did is I put a piece of tape on there and I punched the holes in. Now stick it on there, it's going to be opposite from what I'm wanting. It's not going to work. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hold it in place where I want it, and then I can mark the holes. Right. Now, let me get my other bit and we'll get the holes to run the cord from the jointer. Yeah, I got tear out. I should do better on the other side. Right. I think we can call this cart complete. I got that, it's about a 2.5 inch ledger or brace, whatever you want to call, put in on both sides. Tools are attached. So I think this will be a real nice addition to my shop. I like it being so mobile. All of the casters are locking, so I can lock it when I want to, or I can kind of push it out of the way. I'm really liking it right now against this garage door to open up another walk path. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that this build is maybe one that will help you in trying to figure out some organization in your shop, and I hope that you'll join me next time.